Hey, what's going on? I know Gus is muted, but thank you for coming. So today is going to be pretty interesting, I think, for me as well, because even when I was recording this thing, like there was just so many things that I realized that I'd done, and I didn't actually figure out that all of this stuff was, I don't know, they were just experiences in my life, and then when I look back on it, it's like, okay, so these things actually were a thing. Anyway, yes, I'm going to quickly run through what's going on, Dan. You good? Good to see you, man. Gonna mute you. Cool. Just a quick presentation, and yes, well, thing is about these side hustles and what has worked and what hasn't. It's just that they were all an experience. Every single thing that I've done, and this is going back to I think 2010 or something. It was just all something that made me learn, or I guess take me to the place to where I am today. I guess the goal of this or today for anyone who was looking to start something is just to give you a realistic overview so you can make like informed decisions based on the knowledge that I have. So yeah, let's get to it. So the first thing I want everyone to realize, or anyone who watches YouTube videos and binges on people that tell you that you can earn like a stupid amount of money by doing really little every day, like it doesn't work. So but you'll get a lot of people that will sell you the dream, like the passive income dream. They'll say you can do faceless YouTube channels and affiliate marketing stuff and drop shipping, all of that sort of stuff. And while they can definitely work, they're not easy and they're not cheap, and you do have to spend time in it. So if you do think that you can jump on something like that or copy one of these YouTube videos and think that you're going to make like $500 a day by doing little work and just pressing a couple of buttons, that's really not the case. I think true like passive income, me in my personal opinion, takes either a lot of time or a lot of money to build up front, and then afterwards it starts becoming passive because you figure out how to systemize it, how to pay someone other, like how to pay staff to do it for you. Other than that, the affiliate marketings and the drop shippings, these all take time and they cost money. So yes, I don't think it's ever truly passive. Okay, so the next thing, I think the interesting thing to start off with any business, not just side hustles, is that everything requires these three things. The good thing is about people who are looking to start something, you don't need all three of them. You could essentially have two of them and then buy or hire or figure out the other one. So the first thing is time. You need the time to do the thing, whether it's figuring out like what you just need time to put in that business. So obviously we all have our everyday lives and we're all working and stuff. If you don't prioritize your time to want to do it, it's not gonna happen. Also, you need the knowledge to do it. Like you just need to know how to do the thing. You just need to know how to do the thing, because if you don't, you'll be coming in blind. And YouTube videos and stuff like that, they can only give you so much. They do that on purpose. They give you enough for you to be like, okay, I can do it. But when you actually go in to start doing it, you're going to be like, crap, actually I need this little thing, or there's that little thing. There are so many little intricacies with just setting something up or starting a process that there isn't one real YouTube video that can break it down for you. And if there is, you're probably paying hundreds of pounds or whatever it is to do it. And the next thing that you need is money. You need money to start it, because without money, if we take something like dropshipping, they say it's a wicked business because you get a product and then you've got no overheads in terms of having to hold stocks. You're not paying for a warehouse or anything like that. And it literally just goes, you buy the product from the supplier and it gets sent straight to the purchaser. But what people don't tell you is that you need to figure out what products they are. You can't just go out and pick a product and think that people are going to buy it. So when the only way you do that is by Facebook marketing, essentially. So you're testing it with ads. Those ads cost money, and if it's not the right product, you're basically spending money on a product that isn't working, that no one's buying. So then you have to drop the ad and start new ones, or start a new one. But the good news is, like I was saying, you only need the two. So let's say if you just had money and time, you can always hire someone or buy that knowledge. So you can get someone and they can teach you how to do it. Or if you just have time and knowledge, you can do what people call sweat equity, which is where you basically hustle for someone who has the time, or sorry, who has the money, and you do their hands-on kind of work. So you will do the work, they understand what's going on, and they will pay you for it. And if you have the money and knowledge, you can pay others to do it. So I think the key with this slide was just to understand, or to show, if you're thinking of starting something like a side hustle, understand that these three elements are what you need to make something work. So it's a case of figuring out which two you have the most, and then finding out how you can get the third one. The next thing, and I think this is huge, and I don't think anyone really talks about this in terms of, if you were to go into, if you follow some YouTuber and they are talking about how you can make, I don't know, £500 a day or whatever it is through anything, through a faceless YouTube channel or whatever it is, you need to realize that as soon as you create that YouTube channel, no one is going to watch it. As soon as you open that shop, no one is going to go in there. And that is all because there's no marketing or there's no sales within that structure. And that's happened to me like loads, as in I've spent so much time creating a logo and spent so much time creating a wicked website. And then I get there and then I even tell people like, oh yeah, this massive launch of a website. And then you get there and then there's no one there. There's no one buying your stuff. And you're thinking, well, what's just happened? And it's taken me, I don't know how long it's taken me. It's taken me frigging ages to realize that those little things, they don't matter when it comes down to actually starting something. What matters is going out there and getting the stuff, or marketing yourself, or marketing the product and selling and closing that. So just to give you a bit of background of what I've done. Now, this is literally my timeline from as far back as I can remember. And these are the only businesses that I can like remember that actually sort of, I don't know, hold a place in my memory somewhere. Between this, there are so many other little things that I started and failed at. And this is just to give you an overview, I guess, of where I'm coming from and where my experience lies. Back in 2003, and Gus will remember this, we were talking about starting something called the Face of Clubs. And the Face of Clubs was before Facebook, and it was a thing that people would go on. It never actually materialized, but this is the idea. People would go in it and they would figure out that other people would be going to that same club. So this was obviously, like I just said, it was before Facebook. So my vision behind it was that, let's say I wanted to speak, like I fancied someone and they were at the club. If I didn't, obviously I need to go up to them. If I'd known them, if there was a profile on them or something like that, or in the community where, I don't know, they were just going and they were out for their friend's birthday or something, it would be a way in for you to talk to them. So that was like back in 2003, and me and Gus, we literally wrote like a business plan and we sent it to at least I did. I can't remember if Gus did.
Yeah, we did.
And I opened that like 5 years ago or something crazy like that.
I need to see that.
There was that, and I know it was pretty good actually from what I remember. The next thing here is this event that I created called TriStar, and it was an all Filipino fighting event. And the idea behind this wasn't really the Filipino side. I mean, the Filipino side's obviously great. I'm Filipino, but the idea behind this was the marketing behind the fight scene. So when you go to an amateur fight scene, being, I don't know, let's say you're a girl or a kid, it's quite intimidating. And it's intimidating because all the people that are going there, they're fighters, or they're underground fighters, or they're in that scene. So they're accustomed to like being in this place where everything is, I don't know, kind of rough and ready. So with this whole TriStar events, what I was trying to do is I was trying to make it more UFC like. I was trying to make it more, it was more marketable. Like every single fighter that was on the card, they had their own videos so people could get to know them. And it was based on trying to make it so that your average person who wasn't into fighting could come to an event like this and enjoy it and not feel intimidated. That ended up not working out, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But what happened off the back of that was this here, which is Plus One Media. So because I was running everything for free, basically, like I had no money at the time, I was just saying to people like who knew how to use a camera or knew how to edit, help me set up this thing and we'll film the fighters or whatever it is. And off the back of that, that failed. But what had happened is that I started creating a space where people knew how to do media. So I had a couple of people who could do filming and had a couple of people who could do editing. And at that time, I was also clubbing a lot. And the clubbing meant I got to know a lot of the owners or a lot of the people who were running the nights. This led to Plus One Media. One of the people who was running the nights basically wanted someone to film an event. And I was like, yep, we can do that. So from that, got a filming crew together essentially. And then once, because that clubbing night, or we probably only filmed a handful of those, but off the back of them I was able to use them as referrals, or at least as like testimonials to say, we do club nights, this is what our stuff looks like. And that led on to weddings. And then weddings, we started doing weddings, and I think we hit about 30 weddings, like best year, which isn't a lot, but when we're all working and doing our thing, like, it was great. It was a great little side hustle. And the interesting thing for me is that I don't know how to film. One of the people who was a videographer, he sat down and taught me how to take pictures and started trying to teach me like the ICO and ISOs and stuff like that, and it just didn't click. But what did click was that, like, okay, you can create something here without actually having to do the thing. I was just a person who knew the people, and then I just came in and got the right people and put them in front of the customers and made this event happen, or made the videography or photography happen for these weddings. And so that was pretty awesome. Next in 2015 was like dropshipping. And like I was saying with dropshipping, I had just come back from Australia, and I came back from Australia after a year, and I did not know what to do. Like, I've been out of work for a year. So I just started binging YouTube, and I just started looking at all of these influencers. And back then dropshipping was the thing. Like, the journey that you'd go through was you start dropshipping, and once you found your feet dropshipping, you move on to was it AWS? Amazon, I can't remember what it's called. Fulfilled by FBA. It's called FBA. And so dropshipping is, if anyone doesn't know it, it's where you will sell a product, but the product isn't held by yourself. It's held by like the suppliers in China or wherever it is. And what happens is that when someone buys that product off your website, you have the markup, and there's an automation that happens that buys that product straight from the supplier, but then the supplier ships it straight to the buyer. So you're just the middleman. You get cut out at that point. But what's good is that you get that little piece on top. And it was great. I sold, like, my revenue for one t-shirt was like 7K, and it was this orange Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. And it showed me that marketing was friggin' super powerful. Facebook marketing was super powerful. Like, at that point, I started with marketing just everyone who liked Dragon Ball Z. And I started moving into like people who liked anime or liked anything to do with Dragon Ball Z stuff. So if you're ever looking to start something and you want to market it, Facebook marketing in terms of Instagram or paid ads like that is friggin' super, super powerful. I won't go through all of them, but I will say, like, just I guess the main ones. So this was personal. So I learned how to become a personal finance coach, but this was more of a passion project. This was after that, I guess, I became a personal finance coach. And as I was saying earlier, where I had I built this massive website, and I was like, great, like, I'm a personal finance coach. Now I can help people. I literally had that with this personal finance thing, and nothing happened. Literally, like, the people that I told were like, oh yeah, that's nice. And then that was like the end of it. But it was awesome for me because I always had a passion for like learning about personal finances in general. So knowing that I knew how to help people properly in terms of coaching them was wicked in that sense. The other things I guess to notice here, the online digital products, like back in 2020, says it there, I started creating an online course, and it was based off the back of this personal finance course. So it was personal finance course like for beginners. And the model seems super sick. Like, it's easy. You film a course, you stick it on like Udemy or Skillshare or whatever kind of online school teaching platform there is, and you leave it there and it does its thing. But it doesn't. First thing is, it takes a lot of friggin' time to figure out what you're going to teach. Like, there has to be some sort of syllabus. And back then there wasn't ChatGPT that could spit out something for you for you to work off. It was just like figure it out yourself and do the best you can. And then two, you have to figure out how to film it, how to edit it. All of this shit takes time. And then once you're actually ready to go, you stick it up on a site like Fiverr and no one touches it, because there are about 50 other people doing exactly the same thing, yet they have like 20,000 reviews that all say their stuff is great. So why is someone going to buy from you or from me? Which is like, fine, I get that. And I needed to do this online course and stick it up there to learn that. And then YouTube, like a couple of talks I did a few weeks ago was based on a lot of these just online digital products and how good I think the model is, and YouTube was a massive part of that. And this is how these two sort of led. I thought if no one is buying these digital products, I need to go out there and start filming YouTube stuff. But life gets in the way. Like if you've ever tried to do anything YouTubey or even stuff like this, like it's hard because it's just so not what we're used to. And YouTube is something that we all, or even Instagram, whatever it is something that we just look at and throw away. But when you're on the other side trying to do this, like you realize how much time it takes, how kind of thoughtful you need to be when you talk about stuff, and how, I don't know, you get all of those imposter syndrome things that come into your head that are like, oh, am I good enough? Are people going to watch my stuff, etc., etc. So I started the YouTube stuff, and I basically just lost love of it. Like no one was watching. I had like 20 subscribers or whatever it was, and then that was that. So this isn't, I think the lesson I learned from this was literally keep on going, because I think if I carried this on, these two would be making some money. And KDP, so if anyone is looking to start some sort of side hustle and they want to do it, say now, KDP is probably one of the best things you can do, because you can create a book, especially with like ChatGPT or with AI in general. You can create a kid's book, which is what I done, and get it in Amazon within 5 hours, I reckon. And 5 hours for me was just faffing around, because I was literally watching the same free YouTube video on how to do it. So this cost me nothing to do, and 5 hours of time. Say that the reason why it took so long was because to generate a picture, this was 2022, to generate a picture, it took like 3 or 4 minutes or something. And obviously to do a kid's book, it was just you're doing the script or whatever, and then you're generating that picture, then you're sticking it on for it to get published. So currently I have 2, I think, books on KDP, which are on Amazon, which are available to buy, and they are kids books. The bad thing is that no one knows it's there. Exactly the same with your online course. No one knows it's there because I'm like 50 pages back, because there are like 500 other kids books that people are doing that are getting more reviews and things like that. So I lost heart with this, because it was like I should have carried it. There was a lot of things that I could have done with it. So after creating the books, I should have marketed them, basically. And marketing doesn't just mean, I don't know, telling people about it. There was like clever ways to do it. There were like Facebook groups that done little nifty things to get it moved up in terms of your rankings through Amazon. But yeah, I never done that. And in 2023 rather, I tried to do a faceless YouTube channel, and this was creating YouTube and TikTok shorts that were, what were they? They were, what do you call them? You know, them like minute quizzes, and they were just quizzes on current topics, and they were super cool. Like it took me probably about an hour. It took me about 2 hours to do one, because you'd have to find what you're talking about, and then you'd have to create it, etc. And then it took me about an hour to do them, and I was trying to do them like every day. So every day turned into like every other day, and then like important stuff, I guess, in my head started getting in the way. And this is where, like, I reckon if I would have carried on, this would have done quite well. But it was that case of like, do I really want to spend my time on something that I'm not gaining actual knowledge on? Like doing this Faceless YouTube channel could have started making me money, but it was such a mundane thing to kind of do, and I'm not actually learning anything that realistically in the long term, is it something that you can do for the long term? I mean, obviously if the money comes in, maybe, but for me it didn't. And as soon as something else came along that for me seemed more important, or felt like it would generate more money or give me more like knowledge, then that was the thing that I went for, and that was Rent to Rents. So I joined the academy, like Samuel Lee's Academy, back in 2023. And off the back of that, I met a lot of contacts, and one of which needed a backer. And she needed a backer because she had someone who she already had 2 rent-to-rents, but she needed a third one for the same company that were renting out the space or that were looking to expand. And they're doing roadworks on the A3. And the roadworks they're doing on the A3 was started like 2023, I guess. I can't. It was started ages ago, and it's still due to go on. It's supposed to finish summer this summer, but they're saying they're going to move on up until 2026. So I backed this girl, and we went into a rent-to-rent together. So what was wicked about this is that it is super stable. This is the closest that I've been to a passive income type side hustle, but it also cost me a lot of money. So she was the brains behind it, and she had the contacts, and I was the man with the money, and I just helped to do stuff. So once we got the property, we came in and we staged it. So when all of the furniture and stuff came in, I was the one who built it, and she was the one who was doing the painting and stuff like that. So that for me is still running now, and it's still doing really well. It's less now than it was last year because of the landlord putting up the rent, as well as us not getting as much as we wanted for us putting up our costs or our costs to the client. But it's still making me money, and I haven't been back to that property, which is sick. And then there's AI, which is what I'm doing now. So I put everything into AI since 2023, because when I started using ChatGPT, it was just like, shit, man, Terminator is coming. Like literally, if anyone's watched Terminator, you know, like this shit is coming, or it's seriously here. And it's moving so quick that it's just going to get better and better. What we're seeing with AI now is just the very, very beginning. And what's crazy is that a lot of people don't know how to use it yet. They don't know where it fits in. That's great. And that's great for me because I'm learning it now, or I'm being, I guess, this sort of pioneer with it now, so that I know that in 5 years' time, people will be like, oh yeah, Ryan's that guy who knows how to do this AI stuff. Let's go and ask him. So that is why I'm putting everything in terms of my side hustly bits into AI. I went through a bit of this earlier, but this is just to tell you what worked or what didn't work. The side hustles that failed were basically the Facebook clubs. There was no knowledge, and Facebook came out. With the fighting event, I had too much ego. I made about $3,000 in sales, in ticket sales, and I thought I was clever enough, or I thought I was big enough to go away on holiday. And if you're a business owner, and I guess Dan will understand this, but if you're a business owner, everything happens at once, or just there are so many things going on all the time. And I didn't really realize that. I thought, hey, I've got $3,000 in my account. I'm going to go on holiday, switch off my phone for 2 weeks, which is essentially what I did. And like everything will be fine. And what had happened is that it's not that I didn't switch off my phone. I just didn't reply to stuff. I didn't action anything for those 2 weeks. And I came back after those 2 weeks, and 4 fighters had basically gone, like, decided to not want to fight anymore. The medic guy who I had, who was going to be on standby, decided he didn't want to turn up. There were all of these things that just happened when I got back, literally when I landed back in the UK, and trying to solve them 2 weeks later just wasn't happening. Like the fighters were like, nope, made up my mind. And normally, as soon as I'd see something like that, you'd be on the phone to them straight away, and you'd be sorting that shit out. You know, you'd be figuring out what the problem is, how you're helping them, whatever. And because I didn't do that, those 2 weeks just killed that business, basically, which is friggin' nuts. Because it's crazy to think where that would have been, like, especially if it did kick off in 2000. It'd be crazy to see where it would have been now. And yeah, the rest of the stuff I basically spoke about, so I won't go to that. The things that I did learn with Plus One, and I mentioned this earlier, is that you don't have to do it yourself. If you have the right team, or if you're able to understand that. So I guess if you think about a big company, the CEO's role isn't to sit there and look pretty. It's not even there to do the work. It's to go out and get the clients. The CEO and the FC, or the financial guy, they're the people that go out and get the clients. The finance guy will go out and get the money. They'll get the financing. And the CEO will go out and just talk to people. Literally will just go out and connect and stuff like that. And I didn't really twig that until plus one until this media company, because that is exactly what I was doing with this company. All I was doing was finding the people and then meeting up with them, then closing them, and then getting the media team to go out and do the job. It was great. I didn't realize that was a thing until this plus one stuff. And drop shipping was great because I didn't realize the power of social media or just Facebook marketing in terms of paid ads. I think paid ads are super, super important if you want to try and level up. If you're looking for clients, if that's like a problem, then definitely like Facebook ads or Instagram ads, they're definitely something to look into. And the personal finance was just good for me. And obviously I spoke about rent to rent. So like the wins or that made me, I guess the things that made me carry on is that every time I failed in something, I realized that there was something that I've learned. And that kind of led me to all of this stuff here. Because I think if someone is watching this and they want to start something, they need to, I believe, understand or learn all of these key things. And the first thing is understanding your why. And this sounds super friggin', I don't know, if you go to any Tony Robbins thing, any Dean Graziosi thing, any one of those people, if you go to their courses, you're going to hear this. And it's a cheesier statement, but I think it's super powerful. And I only realized it's super powerful when you do something because you think it's money motivated. So I'm doing something because I'm going to get paid for it. And then you stop it at the first hurdle because you don't have this why. This why is basically the thing that will keep you going throughout the crap times. And that's why it's super important to have this why. And the why could be something like you want to, I don't know, leave your 9 to 5, or you want to spend more time with your kids, something that will get you up in the morning or get you to allocate your time to do this thing is your why. So the first thing to do is figure that out. And then the other thing is to love it. Like you have to enjoy what you do, or you have to see the value that it brings other people. Like for me, take this AI stuff. I wouldn't call it love as such, but I call it super valuable. Like it's super good. It's super interesting for me to learn. Like I love that, but I also think it's going to be super valuable in the future. And that value is what's pushing me along with my why. The other thing that that I've learned that I want to kind of reiterate to people is to make it a priority. So I was a victim of this, where you start doing one of these side hustles and then you pay someone to help you or whatever it is, and then you're not doing anything about it yourself, but you're expecting some sort of results, or you're going home and you're watching Netflix and then you're complaining the next day that you're not making any money or extra money. Like that is literally because you're not making it a priority. Like you need to think like it's a thing. If you can go to work at 9 to 5 and stick there and, I don't know, do whatever you do during work, there is no reason why you can't do something like this, because this is technically more important than work. If you look at the bigger picture, there's no reason why you can't make this a priority and allocate time to do this. And the other thing is like to give it time. I think the entrepreneurial journey that people see is like one straight line, and that's not the case. I think it's literally like it goes up a little bit and then it goes right back down, and then it goes up a little bit more and it goes right back down, kind of like the house prices or any friggin' top stock share price. So I think if you understand your why and you love what you do and you see the value in it and you give it you make it a priority, give it time, like keep on doing it and keep on repeating it, and hopefully like it will come, it will reap its rewards. The other thing, I guess, is almost contradictory to that, but you also need to fail fast. Like you saw with the amount of stuff that I've done, I could say I failed in basically almost all of them. But for me, it wasn't a failure. These are all things that I learned along the way to get me where I am now. And one of those things that I should have done a lot earlier, I should have realized a lot earlier, was to fail fast. Like if I knew something was crap, yeah, I wanted to do it anyway because I thought I was just around the corner, but deep down I knew it was crap. I should have just dropped it and went back to these 4 points to make sure that I was on the right track. Because if you know it's crap, one of these aren't going to work. One of these they're just not going to be in your kind of system. And the next thing to do, if you're thinking about it, bro, or sis, whatever, go for it. Friggin' just do it, man, because the only way you're going to actually learn how to do it is just to friggin' do it. No one else is going to back you. Like no one is going to sit there. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, great, that's great, but no one's going to back you. Only you can back yourself. And the only time where people will start backing you is when it's too late. You've already made your money, you've already done your thing, and then they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's sick. But the transition to get there is super difficult because you're fighting against all of these people that you know, you love, whatever it is, and they're telling you, oh yeah, it's great, but you know, what about school? What about work? What about whatever? I think if you can and you want to, friggin' just go for it. Like, what is stopping you? And also these last little bits, I'm almost done, by the way, so I know I'm taking up a lot of time because I do want to chat to people. Sales and marketing, like I and then this could be debatable, but I literally think this is more important than the product. I think if you don't know how to sell or you don't know how to market, it doesn't matter what the product is, it's not going to get anywhere. And also think there is no perfect side hustle for like one perfect person. If there was, everyone would be doing it. So I think everyone's in different situations and everyone has different amounts of money or time or whatever it is. So trying to find the perfect thing that will get you the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of effort, I don't think it's a thing. So if that is the lines that you're thinking, like, I guess think again. And consistency beats talent. I think any business owner will probably tell you that they're not talented, I would think. Most people that are talented will stick to their guns and learn this thing, but they don't actually go out and do the thing. I think consistency is a thing that gets people past that initial phase of I'm a failure and I can't do it, because they will just carry on. And this is just my personal opinion, because I found that when I've started to do the side hustles that don't necessarily mean a lot, but they say they can make you money, like dropshipping, for instance, I found that just there wasn't anything in it for me, like in terms of skills or value that I'm gaining or I'm giving back. So that's why I put this, like, don't chase the trends, chase the skills. But if there's a skill that you're learning or a process that you love, then obviously keep going. But if it's just something that is just a trend because TikTok is saying it's great, then I don't know, maybe rethink it. And also that failure is a part of the process. Like it is. You're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed, but the time that you do succeed is the time that's going to make all of the failures matter, or all of the failures not matter, because the time that you succeed is going to be the time where you're like, shit, this is why I failed so much. Oh my days, there's more. I didn't even realize. All right. So I think, okay, so this is for the people who are looking to start something. So if you've come on here because you heard my reel earlier and you were like, oh shit, okay, like I feel like starting a side hustle. I think the thing to take away from here is that identify what you have. And when I spoke earlier, James, I don't know if you're here for this, but when I spoke earlier, there were 3 things that people need to start a business, in my opinion, which is like knowledge, time, and money. But the good thing is that you don't need all 3. You can have 2 of them. So this is where this comes from. Like if you can identify what you have out of those 2, you can figure out how to get the first one, how to get the third one, and then like use that as a starting block. And then your unfair advantage. I haven't spoken about this today, but an unfair advantage is your life skill. If we take Gus in the call, so he's been doing creative stuff all of his life. He's been doing videos. He started off with music and now he's doing like content creation. His unfair advantage is just that he's been doing content, I guess, or creative stuff ever since friggin' college. I've only been doing content stuff for the last 2 years. So if there was someone who, if there was someone who was an expert in that field, it would be him, because he has all of this, like what I call an unfair advantage, because of all the experience he's gained. So if you have a passion or an unfair advantage in a thing, then I would like suggest in terms of your side hustle, try looking around that avenue. And then obviously to understand sales and marketing, I think this is super, super important, which I touched on earlier. And then there's this community, like this community is super small. There's what, 15, 16, maybe 20 people in it now. But the people that are going to come in this community, they're going to be people like you and me. They're going to be in a situation where they want something better, but they don't really know how to do it, or they've already got something and they're just looking for like-minded individuals. When we're around our like our group of family and friends, there aren't a lot of people that are in that same boat or that are willing to take the necessary action to do it. So I think like surrounding yourself with a community like this or other communities or other people that are in the same boat or have the same vision, like you have to do that. That's super important. And I think if you start small and keep building, that's super powerful. And then you rinse and repeat. And that is it. Does anyone have any questions? And thank you for listening. You all were super quiet and everything, including you, Rob.
Yeah, man, sorry. Just catching up, isn't it? Like listening to what you're talking about. Sorry I joined late.
It's all good, B. I didn't even
kid stuff to do, innit?
Yeah, for real. So
Yeah.
does anyone, is there anything that you took away from that you were unsure of or didn't agree with or have a question on? Gus does.
Go on.
I was just going to say, no, something I didn't agree with that you said, but that's because you said that something failed. I think you said your financial coaching thing failed, but the reason why it didn't fail is because you managed to help me out of financial situations, with whatever you learned.
Wow.
And in that whole thing, just whatever you'd learned, and we were talking at the time, and you were just passing on the knowledge, and I used that knowledge to get myself out of debts and stuff like that.
What?
And whereas me and you were just talking, it was just like, oh yeah, you should just do this, try this, blah blah blah. You still managed to pass on. So to me, it was a success because it helped me in a different like out of a situation and into a better situation. So whereas it looked like a failure, and in a lot of the things that you mentioned, obviously we're talking about your story, but in general, a lot of the things that you mentioned, they all contribute to the next thing that you've done. And also a lot of the time it seemed like you were ahead of the curve with a lot of stuff. So being on the AI stuff now just means that you're ahead of the curve, whereas a lot of the other things were like the Face of Clubs thing before Facebook and before Tinder and all of those things. Realistically, it was that just in a physical form. So
yeah, that's true.
Have some ratings is what I'm saying, but
I appreciate that. Like it's still a work in progress. Do you know what I mean? This is still like the beginning stages, but there is a lot. Like there's a lot that I've learned, or that everyone, like including Dan. I know Dan's a grafter as well. Like he's got a successful business, so you know we could be asking him some questions too. But yeah, no, there's a lot of knowledge that is gained from like failing, I guess. But yeah, you know, I appreciate that. Thank you, G. I think I was meaning it more in like, but yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. What do you guys do, Rob and Dan, if you're able to speak?
I'm a teacher.
Incredible.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like primary school teacher, primary school age. I think I'm kind of like in a sort of situation where I'm like brand new to this stuff, you know, in terms of marketing and AI, and I'm sort of literally on that level where it's like I'm just sort of observing and absorbing knowledge about the whole situation and how it's going. But I can see like things are changing. I mean, in terms of like, I use it occasionally, you know, to design flyers and design, you know, certain things that I wouldn't particularly have the know-how to do myself. I would just put it into ChatGPT and then it would just pop out a few ideas and I'm like, okay, cool, this is great. So in my mind, I feel like, shit, what's going to happen to like all these, you know, graphic designers and all these sort of people who have gone that route, in the creative route? Like AI is kind of taking over, you know, something that would take a person to think of. You could just type it in and it would give you whatever you're looking for, in a sense.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
it's kind of, it seems kind of crazy. Like they just literally sidestep the whole group of people who are like creative designers. And it's just like, well,
but it's not
we've
just
got
designers as well, bro.
no, I know there's more to it, of course. Yeah. And that's what I'm kind of
here
like, to figure out, I guess.
So are you looking to start something? Where are you?
I'm in a situation where I would say, yeah, financially stable, no debt whatsoever, except, you know, mortgage, like most people. And I kind of like, I'm in a different situation because obviously I'm out here and I live in Sweden. And so my go-to would be, if I was in the UK, straight to like property, because it's the simplest thing, and well, not the simplest thing, but it's the simplest thing that I know what to do, in a sense. Whereas here, as I said to you, right, there's a local housing market, so it's like literally one property for one person. Like
I find that
there's no no, I couldn't buy a flat and rent it out. Well, I could, but it would be short term for like 2 years only. Because here, instead of having like a council, we would have an association that is in charge of the buildings. And so with them, you have to get the go ahead through them. And they kind of govern everything. Like if I'm allowed to rent to someone, initially I could buy a property, but they would expect me to live there. And so I would lose my contract that I have with the association that I'm living in now. And it's all housing areas are based like that.
Jeez.
So in terms of like, obviously, you know, there's index funds and, you know, I could put money away and keep it and it will grow and build. And, you know, I did try the crypto for a little bit and made some money on like Ethereum and stuff, but nothing like substantially crazy, nothing I could retire from. But it's put me in a position where I feel like I have an opportunity and I kind of want to like utilize on that. So when you were going through like the checklist of like the 3 things that you could have, I have, I guess, one, knowledge I'm trying to learn about now. So I guess I'm just on my way to getting that second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Key
and then
part.
afterwards you find someone to do the work. I mean, you don't have,
Yeah.
but then you understand like you have the money, and then you now have the know-how of how to do it. Then you find there'll be people out there who will just want to do it for the experience or whatever it is. So it'll be about finding that. But what's the end goal? And I want to chat to Dan quickly as well because I understand we're running out of time. But what's the end goal? Is it to leave your job or make some money?
I have something in the pipeline that I'm kind of trying to figure out now. It's basically like a sports academy. And so I've drafted up a business plan. I've started sort of doing the documentation to like register the company and stuff. And so I'm in my mind, like there's nothing really stopping me from doing it except myself, like, and the fear of, you know, not having that regular income each month and actually putting myself out there and just going for it. But then again, it's like, you know, I don't really have much to lose. But in this sense here, what I'm trying to get from you and this whole like group of people is just more knowledge on like, you know, digitalization and AI and how that can sort of help propel my situation a little bit more.
I guess my 2 cents, and then I just want to chat to Dan just to find out. But my 2 cents on that is that, did you say a sports club, like a
like a sports academy?
So it doesn't have to start full time, does it? Can it not?
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
So there is technically nothing. You don't have to quit your job.
I don't, but then time is, I think, key in that situation.
Okay.
Because obviously I'm a teacher, and so I can't just leave and get up and go like whenever, and it's gonna have to be sort of after school hours. And I guess it makes sense because it's the time that the kids are free from school to go and actually take part in it. But I think also what it is I have to kind of like wrap my head around sacrificing time. So the times that, for example, like we have half term, that's the time I'll be working. I can't take holiday because that's when the time kids are off, and then they have the opportunity to do these training camps and things like that. And like summer holidays where like, okay, we've, you know, this year we've decided to go to the States, so we're going to San Francisco for the summer. But once I start this up, I won't have that opportunity because I'll be fully like
realistically, you won't, but you will find it if it becomes a priority. Like what will happen in your head, the priority will be, I need to do this thing. But at the same time, if you want to go on holiday and you know that that's a priority, you will find someone to take over those classes. It's not going to be like the brand might be based on you, but they're not going to go for you. They're going to go because it's a cool class and their kid gets to learn how to play basketball or football or whatever it is. So you don't have to be present as such, but yeah, so there's ways around it. Like I know,
and that's kind of like, again, what I kind of need in terms of like advice and how to go about certain things and what I should think about and what to do next. And
Excited for you,
yeah,
man.
so
I can't wait to see it like in its present. That'll be wicked. That'll be wicked. All right, Dan, just quickly, because I know like we're past the time. I just wanted to find out like what you thought. So Dan, me and Dan had a conversation probably about 4 weeks ago or something.
Yes, one sec. Just want to change over from my headphones to my laptop because my ear's getting out. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man. It's cold week. I just wanted
so
to
I own a recruitment company specializing in hospitality. So I supply temporary staff to events who needs 5-star level of service. I've been doing that since 2022, and yeah, I agreed with a lot of things Ryan said. And actually, I was in the same boat as Ryan. I tried a few things, and actually, the thing that kind of helped me in a weird way is I burnt my bridges. So I took a couple of people on, I sunk all my money into it, and then it was fear. Absolute fear that just kind of kept me. I had 2 people, both my partner, Lorna and Jack, and they relied on me. They relied on me for an income, and at some point my money would have run out and they would have had to try and find another job. So just boots on the ground and went banging on doors to try and get clients quickly. And I did, and that was it. Just I lived in fear. And to be fair, I probably haven't really got away from that. And then now I'm starting my side hustle, which is fun. So I'm doing a software. So I'm just building a website currently. So it's weird doing another startup. Yeah, it's kind of just living in fear really. That and also I just failed. So like I hate the word fail because I don't think you do until you stop doing something. But yeah, I didn't know about PAYE. I didn't know about HMRC. I didn't know about employing like loads of people. So I just had to mess up. The amount of like fines I got was quite funny. Oh, you didn't do this. Okay, great. Yep. And I argued all of them. I'm not paying it. Yeah. So it's quite fun.
But that's awesome because like I guess in terms of the journey, like I'm not here trying to be like this expert. I'm here trying to say that I've done a lot of stuff and I'm giving back like what I've learned. So I guess in terms of that journey, you're a step ahead because I haven't quit my job yet. I still work full time. I just have a lot of side hustles that bring me extra money, just not enough money to quit. Whereas this is your full-time baby. So like, whereas I can provide information, you can also do exactly the same thing and provide it like, I guess, even further up that ladder. So that's awesome. No, I appreciate your jumping in and your time. That's wicked.
Yeah, and what I'm trying just to last thing, what I'm trying to get out of this is just I think what the most empowering thing is trying to speak to like-minded people. Actually having soundboards is so important. And there's been times where people looked at me, I'm like, I haven't got a clue. So actually this is a nice community that Ryan's created. So I'm excited to be part of it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all. Literally appreciate you all. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll lock it off here because it's past the time. But yeah, no, I appreciate you, and thank you. See you guys next time, hopefully.
Wicked.
All right,
cool, man. Take care.
I guess.
Shit, you're still here.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, did everyone else drop off?
Yeah.
What? Okay, did I end the recording? What the?
It says it's still recording.
No.
Oh no, wait. Am I recording now? Oh shit.
No, mine doesn't. I have a little red circle next to my name, but I don't know.
It says this call is being recorded still.
Huh? Manage recording. Oh yeah.